In this video, here we are on BeamNG, about to jump into my vehicle and drive to the first spot for setting up a photo. I'll just close the door there. Right. Yeah, just around the corner. Always enjoyable. Park her up and I'll see you in a bit. Right, here we are in photo mode and I've set my scene up to sort of where I sort of want it. Now I've also activated the extra features, and you can actually see some extra features. It pops up, and because I like this composition where it is, save camera, and all the settings that I've set also save settings. So so when you save the camera, it means if you accidentally muck something up or change something and you don't like it, you can go to load camera and it pings you back to where it was. And same with say the settings. If you don't like that, you want to go back to the nighttime scene, load settings, and it pings you back to that. Yeah, very good feature. Absolutely love it. Right, now that I've got this set up, I want to add some extra lighting, some fill lighting. I want to go into World Editor. So press F11 on your keyboard. Get rid of that, so we can see the whole scene tree. Now to add some lights into the scene, we go up to Create Objects, which is in the top menu bar here. Click on that. Another wee toolbar 2 comes down, and we'll be using the point lights. There's a point light and a spotlight, but we'll be using point lights for this one. So click on it, and when you bring it in, it attaches to your mouse. So, and then you can just drag it around. We'll just place it randomly at the moment, and left click, and I'll place another one at the back of the vehicle later. And in the underpass, I'll light the underpass as well. So left click, and I might place another one over here as well. Left click. Now to get rid of this, go back up to Create Object and click on that, and that now locks your lights into the scene where you've placed them. Now to find them in the scene tree, click on your car, and there we go, underneath the player. Yeah, very convenient. I think the devs have changed that. I think that's excellent. Yeah. Yeah, so placing them under the player, always good. You can activate each one by clicking on the actual light in the scene tree. You can turn off the light. There's a wee eye there, so you can see that sort of goes on and off, just so you can get an idea what it looks like when you're playing around. So this one, we'll just turn it off just at the moment because we're going to work on this one. Now just to move it, just the wee arrows that light up. I want a bit of light because say there's this light up here, and I'm just thinking, wow, it's sort of a tungsten-y coloured light. So we'll move the light again. I'm just doing this all by eye and just feel. So we'll place that light, say roughly sort of there. Now to go over here, I don't use everything in this inspector, because each item in here, say your car, you click on that, all the information for the car is in the inspector. So we'll go for this light back again. Now the radius, that just makes it bigger. So if we were to type in, say, 9, and there we go, it makes the light quite a lot bigger, but we'll keep it back at the default, which is 5. Now to activate a bit of colour, click on this little square that says colour there, and I want to make it yeah, tungsten-y sort of orangey sort of glow there. Yeah, that's good. And to get rid of it, just click back on that wee box again. Now the brightness just under the colour, if we want it brighter, just click the plus button and it makes it brighter. The minus button makes it obviously less. Or you can just click in the brightness area there and type in a number. Yeah, that's 15,000, but much. So 1.5. Yeah, that's, yeah. So if default is, keep it at 1,000, because it's sort of where I sort of want it. Now the cast shadows, you can sort of see when you activate the cast shadows. I don't always use it, but I sort of flick it on and off to see what it does. And in this case, I think I will use it. You can see it just activates a little bit of shadow around the car and on the side of the car there. If I do it fast, you can see. Now the other thing I usually use with this is shadow softness. If we want to make it a little softer, default is 0.15. If I go up to 1, it makes it quite soft. So if we toggle on and off the shadow, yeah, I like that. I'm happy with that. That looks quite good. I like that. So we'll keep that one as is. Activate this one. Now I want a wee bit of light to the back of the vehicle, and it's just a matter of moving it all in to the back of the vehicle. So there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So again, the radius, yeah, I'm happy with that. We'll drop in some different colour. Again, I want to go for sort of a tungsten-y sort of orangey sort of glow. Click on the wee box again. Brightness, I think the default 1,000. I think that's not too bad, although yeah, maybe just a wee bit brighter. Just the setting, yeah. It's just a matter of moving it all around. Maybe we'll try a 6,000. Yeah, I'm sort of fairly happy with that. Yeah, add a wee bit of highlight to the back of the vehicle and up the top. Maybe just a wee bit brighter. Yeah, that just again, it's kind of a sort of a darkish, sort of moody sort of shot. So I'm sort of fairly happy with that. Now we might want to ping a wee bit of light into the underpass there. So we'll move this around again, looking at the lighting. So activate the wee color box, and I just do everything by eye. optically sort of change the colour. Now, because the lights, the further away you go with the lights, the bigger it has to be. So that's the default at 5000. But I think I want to try 9 and just sort of see what's that. Yeah, that's not too bad. Try 10, and we'll increase the brightness a little bit. Move it around. Yeah, that's good. Cast shadows, I don't think we'll need. Yeah, you don't really notice many cast shadows, so I won't bother with that. Now, the last light was just also on the underpass, just lighting underneath there. So we'll try an 8. Yeah, okay. Probably not too bad. Click on the car, the last light. Here we go. Again, we'll take the colour, grab maybe another. Maybe we'll make this just a wee bit more sort of redder. Click on that, and probably don't want it as bright. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Right, now we'll try a spotlight. So again, we go back up to Create Object. Your next toolbar comes down, and we'll open up the spotlight here. So again, same thing, just click on the spotlight in the toolbar 2, comes down and it attaches to your mouse, and then drag it in, and you can see it sort of lighting something. Once you see it lighting something, just left click and that'll cement it in the scene. Go back up to Create Object, click on that, and it's sort of locked in your scene. Now to find it, just click on your car again, and there we go. There's the spotlight underneath. Now it usually comes in at a random sort of shape, so it looks like we might want to have to spin it around. So up to the top menu bar, you've got your translate key, which is these here, and you've also right next to it you've got the rotate key. So we'll rotate it around until, there we go, it's on, and once you see it at the subject matter you want, we'll go back to the translate key, and then you can move it around, move it back. Still needs to be rotated a wee bit more. So again, we'll rotate it back a bit and go back to the translate key, pull it back a bit. Right, now it's obviously way too bright. So what we'll do is, to the brightness, we'll just ping that down to, what's that, about 400. We'll change the colour to our orangey tungsten-y colour, and set that. Now with the cast shadows, oh yeah, you can see it sort of gets rid of that highlighted area. So I'm quite happy with that, and we'll just move it around a bit more just to see what it does. to spread out the spotlight, I like using the outer angle, and that just makes it a little wider. So at the moment it's 45, so we'll make it up to 70, and you can see how it instantly made that wider. So if you ever want to change the size, that's probably the other one that I use for the size. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Just pings a wee bit of extra light into the wheels. Yeah, and now we'll just go back into photo mode just to have a look. So press F11. Right, remove the HUD, and yeah, there's our scene there. We've got a bit of light on the side of the vehicle. I've got the extra lighting on the back of the vehicle, which could be, say, another one of these lights. It's out of scene but illuminating the back of the vehicle, and we've got some other lights that could be around underneath, down at the bottom there, shining up and illuminating just the underpass, just to help sort of illuminate this area. So yeah, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. This is where we take our screenshots. So again, we've got normal, big, huge. So we'll take normal, big, and huge. Takes a wee while, the huge one, I think. We have to wait till, yep, there we go. Yeah, so once you've taken your screenshot, the other function I really enjoy is this open screenshots folder. So you click on that, and what that does, it takes you directly to where all your screenshots are that you've just taken in photo mode. Saves having to navigate all through your filing system trying to find it. So double click on the latest one, and hopefully this will be our normal, big, huge. Click on that, and there we go. Here's our it's the normal size one. Yeah, very good. Now another thing that I like to do that may or may not be necessary, but go back into World Editor once I'm finished, when I know I'm finished, and find your lights again. Click on the first one, hold shift down, click on the next one, and that shows you all the lights. And I like doing a screenshot of that, just pressing F12, and that just takes it to the Steam screenshots, or the BeamNG screenshots. Different position than the open screenshot folder. And while I've also got that, I usually like deleting the lights. So just sort of clean up all the yeah. Now, just say for example, another thing I just thought about is if you go, oh, I want to try this. So you can go Control Z, all your lights come back up again, which is quite good if you just happen to go, oh, I want to do another shot or another angle. It's yeah, very good. So we'll get rid of those now. F11, get back into photo mode. Now we notice we haven't. It's come back in straight. It's not the same angle. So because we saved our camera and saved settings previously, we can load camera. And there we go, pings it back to where we saved it the first time. That just about does it for this stage one of the video. I'm just going to hang around in BeamNG and drive this wee junk rod around the map a bit more. Here we are in Daz Studio with Photoshop sort of open here as well. I normally have Photoshop on one screen and Daz Studio on the other, having a triple screen set up, but I've just crammed it all into one screen just to make it easier. So when I assess the scene, you think, right, the main lighting is coming from say the left, from this, just say for example from this tungsten light, and in the BeamNG lighting tutorial in World Editor we put a light also coming from the right. So that's what I've got to try and mimic when I go into Daz Studio here. Now, to make things a little easier for myself, I've got to work in texture shaded. You can sort of still see roughly where everything's going. So here's our light to the left, how you can see it move everything around quite easily. From here we just position all the lights. Now I've positioned one coming from already from the left hand side, fairly good angle as we can sort of see here. And if we move it around, we can see this is the light that we've put in. And again, we can just do the same thing with as in BeamNG. You can adjust all the lighting, move it up and move it all around, and generally just sort of again looking where the light's going. And also because we've got another light coming from the right, you can see there's a bit of light illuminating the side there. So I'll turn that one off. You can see it's illuminating it from the right hand side. So there's the other light. Again, same position, move it, rotate it, so it gets in the right position. A lot of fine tuning to get what you think the lighting looks like, and a lot of rendering. So if we go into final camera, that's final camera, and if I hit iRay and render it, yeah, so when it's rendered in the window, yeah, I'm fairly happy with once I get that finally rendered out into a PNG file and place it in there. Yeah, I'm quite confident that will work as it has, because here is the actual rendered version. So I'll pull that up, and as you can see, it's fairly close. I do a little bit of extra work in Photoshop, sort of burning and dodging and just lightening areas, maybe doing a wee bit more color adjustments. But as you can see from what we got here in Daz Studio to here, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm sort of very happy with that. Now the characters themselves don't come with all the wardrobe. You've got to be a stylist to some sort of degree. So the shoes he was wearing come from another package, armbands, the leather armbands, and all this extra wardrobe, the torn pants, maintenance crate that he's sitting on are all extra products that you can source when you're designing your character up. And so, for example, we want to put it on this his left forearm, so we want to put another leather arm gauntlet on there. So here's the arm gauntlets, left and right arms. So we want the left forearm there. So all we've got to do is pretty much double click and boom, it sort of adjusts itself and it renders, and there we go. It's placed on the forearm where it should be, and all other items as well, shoes, armband there, and all the rest of the pants all come in just like that. Very convenient. Now here we have the female character in the scene, and same situation, got the lighting coming from the left hand side and a bit from the right. And with the lighting, you select the spotlight in the scene tree and go down to lighting effects, and we can also change the intensity, but I'll just go to texture shaded so I can do it quicker. So you can adjust the intensity, as you can see, and you can also go and just much like BeamNG, change the color to, say, just for example, go to green. We've also got like the spread angle. You can change the how far it goes out. So there you go, and there's the light for that one, and then you can spin her around and just have a look at generally what it looks like. But we'll go into final camera view, and then we'll just go a render, just an in-window render. Here we go. Yeah, and that when you look at it, I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. So from once you've got everything, sort of all the lighting set, and you think it's going to look right, just hit a render, and you can set. I think I usually set it at like a 4K render. So when you pull it into BeamNG shot, plenty of scope, usually end up coming in too big, and you can just reduce it down a wee bit. So kind of like that. Yeah, here we are with the second scene. Here are the robots in Daz Studio. As I'll show in the Photoshop section, you render the robots as we sort of see them here, and in the final camera view. And in Photoshop, what I do is just mask out, put a layer mask on, and then just paint out the lower half of him, so he's been cut off, and then add all the extra effects that I'll show a bit later on in the Photoshop section. Of course, the standing robot, just pop him in and place him there. Right, so we'll just do a quick demo. So here's our robot. We'll double click, and they come into the scene pretty much ground zero, all centered. And over in this side here, you have pistol in the left hand, pistol in the right hand. So if we double click, bang, there he goes. Yes, excellent when that works nicely. Now to pose them up, we can find poses, preset poses. So we can, so for example, double click on that, and there we go, sort of a walking pose. Yeah, double click, try that one. Now there he goes, peace sign. Yo bro, how's it going? I'm here. Yeah, it's good. And that's pretty much the way it works for all characters you bring in. You find compatible poses, and you can compose your character. Yeah, it's very good, excellent. Saves a whole lot of time. So here's the male character in this scene. Again, you just same procedure as the other ones. Pose them up, because I had done them in the previous scene at the beginning. He was already set up with all his clothing and wardrobe, etc. And like you saw in the robot there, where you can click a pose, that's pretty much what I did from there. So that sort of made that a little faster. So if you've got multiple characters and they got the same sort of clothing like we have in this video, it makes the second scene go a little faster, except for when you've got to add all the lighting and adjust the lighting to match what's in here. Really good. Thoroughly enjoy this. Takes time. Yeah, right, here we are with the last character. Again, just sort of brought her in because she had already been designed up with all the clothing and wardrobe and accessories from the previous scene. All I had to do really is just pose her up, find a pose that sort of suited, and found one which was pretty close, and then also add the extra lighting that just sort of suited, again, trying to match what I thought looks good for the scene, because you've got quite a bit of a bright explosion there, so quite sort of strong lighting coming from that area. Right, okay, now in Photoshop we are going to bring in the BeamNG screenshots. There's a couple that we did in this video. Well, this is the first one, and also the figures that we did in Daz Studio. So this one is probably, for me, it's a fairly straightforward one. Now, the large wide format is the triple screen format on my sim rig. So it's 3 screens, and when I take a screenshot, it gives me that whole wide sort of format, which I actually kind of like because it looks good when you do landscapes with, say, a vehicle or something in it, and then there's a nice scene in it as well. But for this one, you got plenty of room to sort of crop. So I've sort of cropped it in the lines where I want, and just make a new layer, and then just black out the sides that we don't want, so it just makes it just a little bit easier to see. We can probably get rid of the guides now for the moment. Do a save. Now, with the I've already imported in the male and female models, and they usually, when you export them out of Daz, they generally you can do a transparent PNG, which is really quite good. So here's the male, and the lighting that I did in Daz Studio, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It looks like he sort of belongs in there. So the light coming from there, you say, well, he's shining, giving him a bit of rim light and a bit of lighting on that side. Now, while I was in BeamNG, I added some extra lights, and then added another light, just gave a bit of highlight around that one. So even though you can't see the light, there's maybe a light outside the scene that's lighting, just to put a bit of light on that side. That's why you got light coming from there, highlighting in there when you're in Daz, and then you got a bit of light coming from this side, just giving a bit of lighting for that side of the figures. So that's, I'm not an expert, so to me that visually looks actually not too bad, and when placed in there, with actually minimal sort of grounding shadow, because the shadow in Daz Studio was sort of already like that, so I sort of just blended it out a wee bit. Now I did sort of color grade, or change the color of this figure a little bit, very minimal. And here's the female figure. Again, we've got a bit of light coming from that side and a bit of light coming from that side. So that's sort of pretty much that shot is a finished shot. Right, here we go. This is the second image in the video. Same procedure as the first one, where you drive your vehicles and position them up. Now, the only extra difference is this burning car in the background. I drove it to the spot and composed the scene. In BeamNG, you can actually explode your cars, so you can catch them on fire, and it actually looks like that. As a photo, you've got to do a replay of it all first. It's sort of beyond the scope of this video, because it's pretty much a whole video in itself. So basically the car's parked there. I parked this car there and exploded this car and just let it burning away there, and you can see the smoke in there. You have to have a darkish sort of background, so I had it again at sort of somewhat night time. Flip the camera around and you compose your scene, and then you take a number of screenshots while that car's burning away and the flames are building up and the smoke's building up, and you just keep rattling off screenshots and then picking the best one. And also going into World Editor, where you're adding a bit of extra lighting, the point lights like I showed in the BeamNG video, going into World Editor, because everything was dark and black, that color all the way along. So I wanted to create a little bit of sort of illuminated light and sort of spill over from any fire or anything else, because in this spot here I put another light so it would illuminate, just like on the first video where I illuminated the vehicle, and coloured it up to sort of more reddy hue. So I knew I was going to put something in the front there that would illuminate this, a bit of the vehicle. So the robot that we had lying, we'll sort of get up. So now this is the robot as it comes in. Now I sort of added a bit of extra yellow to that, sort of colour graded and made it a bit yellow. Now doing the grounding shadow. Now the way I do grounding shadows, click on the background, and what I generally do is, may not be the correct way, but this is the way I do it, is I might just sort of roughly sort of draw a sort of an area like that, and we've got a selection, and we've also got the background selected down here. Now I'll go and put a bit of a feather, a slight feather on it, and then I'll just do a copy paste, and then that shows up as a layer. Move it out so you can see it does that, but it's behind the wee robot. Now what I do again, it's whether it's right or wrong, I'll do I'll use the hue saturation, drop the lightness down so it sort of darkens it up a bit, but then I'll add a bit of saturation so you bring up a bit of the colour, and you may change it, think, well, it could be a bit of red hue and everything in there. Yeah, so again, just again, I just do this by eye. So again, that's pretty much the way, say I'd sort of do that. And then what I'll do is put a mask, just a layer mask onto that. And that's when I'll start just wiping away, creatively sort of wipe back, so feather the edges. Again, whether this is the correct way, and this is just the way I've done it over the years. And then I'll just sort of wipe back, feather the edges. Obviously you don't need to go too much into there because it's behind the wheel. So in the end, you get a sort of a feathered out. You've got that underneath, and you think, yeah, that's right. It gives it a bit of grounding. Now all these spark effects, I use a product called Ron's brushes. Now you can buy those at the Daz Studio shop under Ron's brushes, and he has an amazing amount of variety. So you can just drag and drop them, and then they're sort of pre-done, and they're sort of PNG sort of clear background, so you can just drag and drop them, place them, resize them, and you've got an automatically instant effect. So that's pretty much what I've done. All of these, so this is one effect. Here's another effect, again, just little tiny bits where you think, well, there's a bit of molten, metal sort of dripping down there. Again, a wee bit of action in there, a bit of fire, maybe again building up the sparks and fire. And again, another wee fireball and fireball reflection, and again more of an intensive spark, like it's just been cut off. You're dragging and dropping. Again, some more sort of sparking sort of plasma thing there, and again a bit more of a spark. Yeah, really get quite quick and effective, because you can see all the effects straight away. So for that, I think they're very good. So that's Ron's brushes over at Daz Studio shop. Put a layer mask on it, get rid of all the the extra bits, and just start rubbing it back. So you end up with what you see there, and then I think just did them around. You can do almost copy and paste, and then just adjust. Now once we've done the those light effects, you also has some some light explosion effects. Wanted to add a few extra sort of explosions, like some bits of debris and that coming away from the fire, exploding car and burning car. Again, these are all. Just again, the same procedure. These are you can just drag and drop them, and these are in screen mode in the layer properties. So the male comes in now to get a look of a bit of grunginess on him. Again, Ron's mud. He has like splatters and what have you. So you can see that's just on there. So again, it just comes in like that, cut and paste, and you can again muck around with the layer properties. I've put that as hard light, so that almost gives us sort of a splatter mud. Another one down there, again the in linear light. So again another mud one, that's on multiply, moving around body, applying bits of dirt and mud splatter, giving it a bit of colour, and giving a bit of a colour overlay, bit of a red. And you just layer everything up. So at the moment, if we do, it shows you what we've actually put in the original scene. Right, now we can add in female. Again, we can do the same thing where I've added in bits of bit of a cut on the blood. Again, Ron's blood is sort of blood splatters and stuff, so you can pretty much drag and drop. Again, you can layer up all the effects. There's a wee bit of a cut. Yeah, doubled it up. So generally, a lot of times I like sort of doubling up, trying out different blending layers. This is multiply and overlay combined, and that gave me the right sort of look that I was looking for. Yeah, another wee sort of cut just to go in there. And again, I wanted to put a wee bit of dirt on here, and then this just a wee bit of dirt in that just around there, just to wear them up a bit. Yeah, again, with the grounding shadow for these characters is exactly the same procedure as the wee robot there, where I'll draw out a rough mask or a shape that I sort of, again, just guessing, copy paste again for his other foot, and there's another one for the girl, female lying on the ground. Yeah, now got the laser beams, and we did they're actually lens flares I used for the laser beams. Right, now the laser beams are made up of a whole lot of bits and pieces. That effect was this effect here that I did for the wee robot. Yeah, so to get these two eye effects, which I thought looked quite good, we can go again. We go into Ron's brushes, and these are lens flares, and I sort of spied this. Saw this one here. I thought, yeah, that actually looks quite good. So I drag and dropped it, put it in there, and of course just doubled it up and placed it on the eyes there. So you got it's quite a good lens flare effect, and I think just fits perfectly for what I'm trying to achieve. This layer here was just did a pen tool. Yeah, just a line, and then just stroked it with a bit of red, a bit of fuzzy red, so you get two sort of laser beams coming out. This effect, again, I'm doubling up. Again, doubling up these eye ones, so basically just reversed it, just basically flipped them all around, put it going back the other way. And that sort of helps sort of give the bit more of a blur effect. Again, could have done it many ways. Effects again, another layer out of the lens flare pack. This was just that wee effect there. Again, just drag and drop, put it in, shape it. Yeah, and then again, just double it up for his eyes. Right, now the last effect for the eye is again another lens flare effect on here. I think I used that one, but I only used that long piece here, get rid of all that and stressed it out, and then add a wee bit of warping and just sort of distorted it, so it gives us sort of a not too straight, but not too wavy. So again, just doubled it up and thinned it up, so it would give quite a good effect. And like I say, you could have painted all that in, and there's some pretty good artists on YouTube I could say that probably painted all in, but if you can grab already pre-made effects, it makes things go a little quicker in most cases. Yeah, so that's pretty much the whole effect. All those different elements that you just overlay. Yeah, then we've got the other robot just coming into shot. Didn't want him fully in, so I just placed him there under the light. In the building background, those few lights that are on the top there, didn't like the way they distracted from the beam. His laser beams, masked it out and painted it. Right, so that's the layer, that everything that I've just blocked out the screenshot. So everything you see on here is what I've placed on top. So all the effects, screenshot as it come in, after it's been into World Editor with extra lighting illuminating the side of the car, to adding all the figures and effects to finish the screenshot off.
Are we ready? Are you okay?
I'm all right.